I think the most offensive part is that they made Lanny and Daryl sit through that.
Yeah. 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 There's no better way to put it, Cami.
No better way. So bad, Mike didn't even bring his laptop.
No,
he has no numbers. He's just riding on wrath tonight.
I have nothing. I've got nothing tonight.
And he does not say that ever.
No.
6-2 St. Patrick's Day demolition in Toronto. Dustin Wolf gets yanked. Toronto gloats. A little intrigue and mystery as we wait to see which former Devil actually gets credit for the second goal that no one's really acknowledged yet on social media.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. Losses in 3 straight now, and they're on a back-to-back. I'm Cami. He's Mike. It's Afterburner, and boy howdy, burnt, flambéed. If we do have some good news tonight, it would be the Lanny sighting.
Sure, yeah.
The fact that Connor Zary's suspension is over.
Yep. That about covers it.
And either drown your sorrows in a green beer or Team Tank toast a green beer.
Reminds me of, in the opposite way, of when Calgary played Colorado on a Valentine's Day, maybe 15 years ago. And something about these holidays, these non-denominational holidays, that just sort of lead to blowouts, because that was a 9-1 game that the Flames won. And you knew it was a blowout because Matt Stajan scored in that game. And that was in the point of the time where Matt Stajan scoring was the sign of something going really crazy. And tonight, I guess maybe Nick Robertson is the proper analog for the Leafs. I mean, I don't know. It was just ugly. It was ugly. Dustin Wolf getting pulled, which, quite frankly, he was the best Flames player tonight, in my opinion, by a lot. By a lot. It was disgusting. Actually, it was a really, really brutal game. The Flames come, a little bit back in the third, when the game was all but decided. At one point, the shot attempts in the third period were 15-0 for Calgary. And it's just like, okay, you guys can show up after 40 minutes where you've completely pooped the bed. Really, that's what it was. That was tonight.
Just remember, folks, it's libel if you write it out, and it's slander if you say it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we've got a lot of that coming your way tonight, apparently.
The J. Jonas Jameson school of takes. It was just horrible. Bring me these Flames. I want to put them on the front page with they're the menaces. This iteration of the team. I have 16 more games of this we got to watch, Cami. And I'm on the show again tomorrow. And I got to watch this again.
I know Pinder texted me today. He's like, can you fill out your availability on Afterburner through the end of the season?
No,
I'm like,
no. I'm off.
That would actually be a banger Halloween costume for you, though.
What, J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah.
Bring me pictures of Morgan Frost. Bring me the Calgary Flames GM on a pike. I don't know. It's
on a pike. That's specific.
On a Ryan Pike.
Don't dare him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can help out and do a good thing while we get through this tire fire of a game. Proceeds from the super chat tonight going to, Youth Centers of Calgary, a place where kids are welcome and accepted as they are, and they get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for many of their lives, and they just get to flourish through some fun, music, sports, all the things that kids should enjoy. I did not enjoy anything. I wrote down everything is bad. I stopped taking notes about halfway through the third period, I believe. And forgive me, I may be off by a game or two because we were getting a Morrissey impression in here while I was trying to do math. Yep. But I believe that is the 32nd game this year for the Flames where they scored 2 or fewer goals.
Watching this game made me want to get hit by a double-decker bus. Crashes into us. To die watching that game would be a heavenly way to die, because it was just awful. No, it was, I mean, Kevin Ball scores 6-2, minute left. Does anybody care? I don't think Robert Munnick's even tweeted out the goal. I don't think the Flames have tweeted out the goal. I don't think it's that kind of season now.
I think Bobby Germany called it a night.
I would too, but we got
anyway,
40 minutes left.
We'll get to it. Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing I will say, I think that this was an all-time jersey matchup.
Yes. I love jerseys. I love good hockey jerseys. The Flames have an excellent color scheme. The Maple Leafs, they look good on most nights. Their jerseys I like the blue and the white. It's
great, but honestly, I think.
But the green.
I think that if Toronto or the GTA had a second NHL team, which they could support,
Sure.
I would love to see them in the St. Pat's colors all the time. More green in the league. I love the green so much.
It's a criminally underused color.
Yeah, and it's not even like the Stars use a very different type of green from that. They get closer to it with their neon green that a lot of people don't like, that I like, but I know I think those St. Pat's jerseys are all time, and it also leads to some really good goalie setups.
Minnesota wears green. Dallas wears green. That's kind of it. Arizona used to have some green. Utah doesn't have any color at all. I don't know.
You mean the Winnipeg Ice?
Those are their jerseys. They got them on clearance. They got them from the Hudson's Bay liquidation sale.
Oof.
Too soon?
Pour one out. All right, let's get through this thing. Toronto scored early and often. A minute 47 in on their fourth shot. It was Domi keeping the cycle going, picks up a big rebound, and just rips it high glove side. And it kind of sucks because this was coming after a pregame show that was basically the Dustin Wolf hype train.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think he was the worst player out there tonight. We even saw like midway through the first period, there were like 10 Bell saves. There was one on Marner when there was just over 6 minutes left in the period, and he's just strong on his edges and he kicks those pads out and there's just no getting past him. Like, you kind of have to beat him screened or high.
Yeah, this was the only goal I didn't like on Wolf tonight, and I thought it was because of the rebound. I thought he really kicked it out a little bit uncharacteristically. Also, a weak play by Yegor Sharangovich, a player who I like. Has been horrible the last few weeks, which is really not great. A player who I had time for earlier in the season when he was struggling has been getting worse and worse and worse. I don't think he's 100%. I am tired of watching him this year because I know he's a better player than this. And it's just like, there's no point putting him out there. And for all we know, he might get credit for the second goal they scored, but it was terrible. And, no, it was just not good. It was emblematic of what was to come, and it was kind of a farce that after that they still came out of that first period tied.
Yeah, and I was worried a little bit, honestly, after the Flames tied it up, and we'll get to that goal in a second. But I found externally, especially for Eastern Conference teams, when they do talk about Calgary, it's like they feel like there's this kind of dream season that nobody expected where this underdog team has a shot at it. But that's not quite indicative of what we've seen on the ice, because as we saw with the Colorado game, sometimes the results can favor Calgary or make it look good, even if the performance really wasn't there. So I thought when Anderson scored, I was like, oh man, everyone's going to think they're good again. But then time ran out. And when we look at the Anderson goal, it started off with Wolf making an absolutely insane save. Huberdeau carried it into the offensive zone. He did make a great pass, just scooping it around Bender, and Anderson's able to rip it home 5 holes. We take a look here.
I mean, it's a beauty. And Jonathan Huberdeau up to 50 points on the season, which on this Flames team is the equivalent of winning the Lester B. Pearson Trophy. It's a miracle that Huberdeau is producing even at that clip with the general languid nature of this offense. It's just been horrible. And but it's a beautiful play. Rasmus jumps into it. He has needed to show a lot more spark recently too. It's good that he did that. It was a momentary salvo or a salve for this Flames team that had just been peppered with chances the whole period. And they had just sort of overcome a sequence where they were inundated with chances against. And then that felt like it was just sort of disbelief. I was like, how are they in this game? I think Money Puck, they didn't
even get double-digit shots on net in a period until the third. They were outshot, I should say, 14-6.
It was so egregious that Money Puck, Money Puck,
heard of it?
Yeah. They quote tweeted me on Twitter because I said I couldn't believe the Flames were still in this game. They posted the graph of the expected goals in all situations after one period. It was 2.03 to 0.36. Which means, my rough math, the Flames got about 14% of the expected goals in that first period. They were absolutely smoked, and it wasn't good.
Dang. Yeah, it did not get better in the second. Pretty much right off the hop, Nylander made it 2-0. Marner got his 60th assist of the season. It looked like Calgary tied it up again, and it looked like it was Frost.
It was Morgan Frost.
A
that's
burst
right.
of excellence. But wait, do you have 10 minutes?
Yeah, no kidding. Nothing about that looked conclusive to me. And quite frankly, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the officials saw to overturn it, but at the same time, you know, I was saying to RJ, who's in studio with us today, I was saying before the show started, hey RJ, the best part of the game tonight. I was saying, you know, that disallowed goal might end up being the turning point for this team because, you know, I think it kind of broke their spirits a little bit. And had they scored that goal for real, had it counted, had something, you know, something changed the officials' minds, I think the Flames will be, you know, would have come out of this or come out of that a little emboldened. After that, I think they were just they looked rather forlorn, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, then after that, we saw Toronto totally turn the tide. It was 3-1 after Domi chased the puck down to negate an icing and whipped it out in front for Nick Robertson. And then you saw 2 goals from Austin Matthews by the end of the period. And then when we start the third, we come out and see Dan Vladar in the net. So if we take a look at Dustin Wolf's night. Granted, we have not seen him get yanked very much. He ends up saving 21 of 26. That's an 808 save percentage. So for sure, not his best showing, but I'm curious because in this situation, it's a back-to-back. We have to assume that Vladar going into this game was going to take the start on Tuesday. Is it worth trying to give the team a jolt, or would this maybe be about just like saying to Dustin Wolf, like, listen, it's not your night. It's not the team's night. Go for it tomorrow.
Really depends on what you're motivated to see at this point as a fan. I'm sure the Flames, you know, internally, they're like, who will give us the best chance to win? If you're looking at tomorrow's game from who will give the Flames the best chance to pick in the top 10, well, I think they should maybe stick with Dan Vladar, and that's not disrespect to Dan Vladar. I just think Dustin Wolf is that good. And if you're looking at it from a tanking perspective, the Rangers are a critical team to lose to, but I don't really know. I can't see it really deviating their plan much. It's only 20 minutes. You know, Wolf still had a pretty heavy workload. He was peppered. I mean,
and his numbers are better the more rested he is.
Well, and that's the thing, right?
That's anybody really, but
Wolf was the reason it was a 1-1 game after 20 minutes of play. He was the reason. Like I was watching this game saying, okay, this game might actually be the best audition tape Wolf could have for the Calder Trophy if you just watch the first 20 minutes.
Yep.
And then there's nothing he can do on those goals in the second period. It's just, I can't pin any of them on him. I mean, the first one, yeah, in the first period, but those ones in the second, I don't see it at all. And I think, you know, if Frost's goal doesn't come back from being offside, I think we're looking at Wolf's performance very differently, but you have to go with what you're given. And I just don't know. I mean, I think the Flames are going to go back to Wolf because they still believe in themselves as a playoff team, but I just don't see it at this point. I can't.
Yeah, things didn't go much better for Dan Vladar. Jared McCann scored just over 3 minutes into the third, and the Flames did get a late one back. Kevin Ball has the credit on the NHL website right now with Dryden Hunt and Yegor Sharangovich picking up the helpers, but that's game. A tough night. Calgary actually won the giveaway battle. They weren't able to capitalize on 18 Leafs turnovers, but what have we talked about so much with Michael Backlund gone, with Connor Zary gone for 2 games? What's going to happen with the faceoffs? 28.8% for Calgary. 71.2% of faceoffs won for Toronto tonight.
Yeah. Well, and I mean,
that's vile.
You can look at the expected goals, and there are some players who graded out positively tonight. Sharangovich did, Farabee did, Kadri did, Ball did, Huberdeau did. But that is so heavily influenced by what happened in the third period after the game was all but decided. But then, by the same token, I think it really reflects poorly on the guys who had terrible numbers all night, and that's Matt Coronado, Blake Coleman, Braden Pahal just got absolutely smoked tonight. It's Morgan Frost had a really, really, really tough night playing the Michael Backlund role with Frost on the ice. The shots were 10-3 Leafs. Yeah, like it was rough. It was rough pretty much from top to bottom. I'll circle back to Yegor. Yegor has been awful recently, just truly terrible. But I also think we're looking at a team where Blake Coleman has 2 points in his last 17 games. And this is a guy who is totally a quality NHL player. Like 100%. You could put Blake Coleman on so many great teams and he'd fit right in. And it's just, this is a team that he's sucking the offense out of these guys and diminishing whatever will they would have had earlier on. They got nothing right now. And it's horrible to watch. It just is. It's horrible.
You make it really hard for me to do some of the ad reads here. I'm like, do our buddies want to be associated with this clip
This
here?
This is the thing. You should watch our show instead of the game. Watch our show. Skip the game.
Oh, yes.
Tune
Actually,
in.
this is my pitch. RJ thinks it's a good idea. So once the draft lottery is done, we are going to rent a dunk tank. We're gonna go over the tape. We're gonna figure out who was pushed for playoffs during the season. We're gonna figure out who was team tank during the season.
That would be me. No.
Okay. And whatever the people who wanted to push for playoffs.
Yeah.
Whatever position the Flames end up drafting, probably like 14 to 16. That's how many shots we get to try to sink them.
Ha! That's pretty good. I like that.
I don't know what number we'll use to
team dunk tank.
Yeah.
Cami you can't see her,
Clip
but Cami's pointing at me. Clip it. Put me in the dunk tank.
What parameter should we use to try to dunk the team tank people?
I mean, you're talking to one of them right now, so I don't know. I think this is a conflict of interest.
Oh, right, because my other pitch was that we have a special wrestling show where I'll dress up as the Green Bastard when I flip you.
Topical. It's March 17th.
I'll pop you one. I can't do the Bubbles voice right now.
No. I can do my Morrissey voice.
Do it.
No, I'm not going to do that. Let's keep going.
Oh, man. Well, that's how we got here. And we will shout out our buddies, Derek Newman with CIR Realty, buying or selling. You can let Derek do the work for you because none of us want to work anymore. You can email him at dnewman@cirrealty.ca or call 403-619-6661. And he's also at dereknewmangroup.com. He does it all. The complimentary in-house home staging consultation to make it look nice and clean. He's accountable, available, does the full scouting report on what's out there in the market, and he'll drop the plan to help you compete with the best, the Jamie Pringle of realty.
That's right.
One could say.
That's right.
That man earns a lot of extra points, and he can even go find homes off the market and go the extra mile to hunt down options for buyers. That's how your Coyotes lost a draft pick that one year.
That's true. That's true. That is very true.
But Derek's allowed to do it. That's
right.
the difference. So if you're interested in buying or selling your home in the greater Calgary area, call Derek at 403-619-6661 and he'll make it easy for you. So let Derek put his network to work for you. I cut you off.
I was going to say Derek specializes in buying and selling, neither of which the Flames did at the trade deadline this year. They should hire him to be a consultant. He'd help them pick a way to go.
I do think that Connie will cook here.
He better. God, he better. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, the sort of Damocles. It's going to be hanging over people this summer because ultimately, I think you have to look at this season as two parts. I think you can sort of look at the first half sort of being, okay, this is a run and gun team. They weren't terrible offensively in the first half of the season. They were bad.
They were riding the success of that start to the season.
Yeah, but there were guys who were sort of half a point a game. And then Huberdeau was close. Like he was sort of on pace for about 70 points. Even a guy like Yegor was at about a half a point a game. Pelche looked good. They traded him. And now you're looking at the last sort of 25 games as sort of a rolling average of the goals just going down, and the shots going down. And I think they're averaging.
They're averaging just over 23 shots a game now. That was up around 27, 28 at the start of the calendar year, and it had been slightly higher before that. So we've really seen that start to crater as well. Yeah,
to me, it's just sort of reduced my interests in seeing, like I had sort of had an academic interest to a certain extent of seeing what this team could do in the playoffs. I was kind of curious. Jonathan Huberdeau, he looks like a reformed player, looks like a power forward. He's got something to prove. He's showing way more than he's shown
Can Wolf do a Binnington?
Yeah, can Wolf pull something out of his behind? Can Nazem Kadri, do what he did last time he was in Colorado and look like Sidney Crosby if he goes in the playoffs? It's like, there was sort of a level of intrigue, and you're sort of saying, okay, if these guys make the playoffs, their pick's not going to be that much higher than Florida's, so you can sort of justify it that way. And now it looks like the best case is they sneak in by 1 point and then they don't score a single goal in the playoffs. And that to me, then they lose in 4. That looks like the best case scenario to me. And
the problem is nobody wants that.
And nobody wants that
wild card
that
spot
to me,
right now.
That to me is a complete waste of time. That's Daryl Sutter. That's his line. It's a waste of 8 days, and it's true. If they make the playoffs, it is a waste of 8 days to me.
Well, I think we're actually guilty of some of not the hype. I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this, but basically, I want to talk about Calgary's road woes here, ranked 24th in the league with a 12-13-6 road record coming into tonight. That's now 12-14-6. So bad. This is probably their biggest road trip straight up in terms of making the playoffs at this point. It's their last extended trip, and Calgary hasn't finished one of these trips with a 500 or better record this season. So 3 or more games, they've never done better than 500. And we were guilty of saying that on their last one, the Gauntlet, where we're like, if they go 500, that's good. That's successful. That's an L on our part. Because I went back and looked at those road trips, and they are not facing a lot of playoff teams on these. We've got 1-0-2, Montreal, Boston, Buffalo, 0-3-1, Ottawa, Detroit, Columbus, Pittsburgh, 2-2-0, Chicago, St. Louis twice, Winnipeg, 2-2-2.
Yeah.
The Gauntlet.
Well, and the thing
500 hockey is not going to get you in at this point. It's got to be 600 or better, and Calgary's like barely going to break 90 points at that stretch. And I know that it looks like this season, you maybe might not need that 96, 98 points, but still it's just going to be right down to that last week of games.
Well, and the thing that makes this road trip a little bit different than the last one is that it has implications on both ends, because the last road trip you were looking at them playing against a bunch of top teams, playing against, the Washington, Carolina, Florida, Tampa. Okay, these are teams that are already solidified into top 5 spots in the league. This road trip is against teams that they are right next to in the standings. So if they win out on this road trip, all of a sudden they move up. If they lose out, all of a sudden they are well on their way to getting a bottom 10 pick and keeping their pick. You look at the game tomorrow, it's the Rangers. The Rangers have 72 points. The Flames have 71 points. That's a game where if you're looking at this from the standpoint of, okay, I want the Flames to get one of the top players in the draft this year. I want to see them have a shot at drafting Michael Misa or whoever, winning the lottery, keeping their draft pick. That's a game where, from that standpoint, you probably want to see the Rangers win that game. And then the Islanders, they're playing on this trip. That's a team that's right there. The Bruins, I think they're playing on this trip. Maybe? I don't remember.
Nope.
No, well, whatever. You get the idea. Montreal. They're playing Montreal on this trip, right? No?
Jersey.
Or no, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
New
sorry.
Jersey.
No, I was just throwing a bunch of names out. Yeah. That's
right. No. But New Jersey's another big one, right? Because New Jersey is directly correlated with their other first-round picks. So
you betcha.
It's all this entire road trip is directly correlated with their draft performance this year. Ultimately, I think come June, you're going to be saying, okay, this is the road trip that determines exactly what the Flames get out of those 2 days.
Question for you.
Absolutely.
Because we did get to see the Flames play Chris Tanev tonight.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of questions about the D-core this year. Some people who haven't been wholly satisfactory stepping into some roles. Is Calgary in a playoff position if Chris Tanev was on the team this year?
Probably. I mean, Rasmus struggling. Rasmus probably has less of a weight to carry if Chris Tanev is on this team. But it's, I mean, yes, I think so. But to me, I don't know. I think they would have approached this season completely differently. I think they would have a completely different game plan. I think they would maybe have a different game plan for Dustin Wolf. I think maybe if you're looking at Chris Tanev being here, I think their entire Vladar Wolf situation is different. I think maybe they are even comfortable giving Wolf more of the starts earlier on. I don't really know. There's so many ways that the paths diverge. But I think it's very likely. Yeah.
And part of that deal did see Calgary get a second-round pick that turned into Jacob Battaglia.
That's right.
You had a segment you want to talk about. You had a special name for it.
I did. I have a segment because we don't want to talk about all the doom and gloom on this show. We want to smile.
We do have happy things.
We want to smile. We want to crack jokes about how comically overlarge my headphones are. That's been a good through line in the comments. I've enjoyed it. Keep it coming. I'm wearing 2 gigantic mega stuff Oreos on my ears.
Do you know what Boomer calls them?
What does he call them?
Cans.
Cans. It's like that scene in Speed where Keanu Reeves runs over the baby stroller and it's just full of cans. It was just cans. There was no baby. It was only cans.
I haven't seen that.
Speed?
No.
Really?
No.
It's a great movie. Sandra Bullock.
Peak. I love Keanu Reeves, though. After you were talking earlier, my favorite movie ever is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah. That's cans. No, but no. This is a segment called a half dozen good eggs. We don't have a graphic. We didn't make a graphic, but we want to talk about some good stuff. Jacob Battaglia, newly minted 40-goal scorer in the Ontario Hockey League with the Kingston Frontenacs. I think we got a clip here. This is goal number 40 on the season for Jacob Battaglia with the Kingston Frontenacs, and this is just a beauty play.
Over for
Bang, bang. That's a goal scorer's goal. Goes right to the dirty area. I mean, nobody really around him. He finds that soft space, taps it home. Battaglia didn't get enough hype, I thought, in the summer when, and I understand it. He was their 4th pick, their second round pick, sort of taken later in the round. But I think if you're sort of looking at the way that guys progressed going back to that draft, I think he moves up a bunch of spots. And, if you're going to do a redo, because he's just been outstanding, a huge piece for the Flames.
Right, because he came quite a few picks after Andrew Basha in that second round. Yeah, that's
right. Next good egg. Let's go to the Matvei Gridin clip. Matvei Gridin has been outstanding. We got a piece on Flames Nation. He's their second of 2 first-round picks from last year with the Shawinigan Cataracts, and he's up to about 75 points. This was a 2-on-0. Check out the reaction time here on this rebound. He's got the puck, and then, oink, that was him. You couldn't see it. Celebu. He got the trailer. The puck came right back to him. He just tapped it home. Matvei Gridin, by far the leading scorer among QMJHL rookies this season. And his production, he was in the USHL last year, right? And he was going to go to Michigan. And he didn't go to Michigan. He went to the Q. And, different leagues step up. His production has basically remained in lockstep. He hasn't taken a single step back going up. And the Q, something that people might not realize, the production in the Q this year compared to the OHL and the WHL, historically, it's been the higher scoring league. This year, it's kind of
quite a bit lower.
This year, it's the way lower scoring league. So for Gridin to be doing what he's doing, it's very impressive. Okay, that's 2. Number 3, want to stay in the queue. We don't have a clip for this guy. Etienne Morin. That's how you say it. Etienne Morin. Second round pick of the Flames, 2023. This guy's going to be a beast. He's going to play in the AHL for the Wranglers next year. They desperately need a defenseman like Etienne Morin. Doesn't get the hype, but boy, that guy can throw a hit. So you're going to like him, and he's at about a point a game. Now let's go to another clip. Another defenseman, Zane Parekh. 102 points on the season for Zane Parekh.
Why are we not hearing more about him?
You know what? We've talked about him a lot, but let's watch this clip. This was amazing. Watch this whole thing.
To the point, Parekh, what a move to get past one man, get in a shooting position, shooting it, and it goes off a player in front of the net and dusted just wide.
Oh,
there's Parekh.
Look at that skating.
Another shot hits a man. Zane Parekh still with the puck, shoots, scores. Went through everyone, and the second
walk the line.
Yeah, Zane Parekh. I want to pull up the stat. Zane Parekh has been held without a single shot in just 2 games this season. He has played, about 60 games this season. He has had at least 5 shots on goal. Let me just pull it up here. In 23 games this season as a defenseman.
Sheesh.
That's over a third of his games. He has had more than 5 shots on goal as a defenseman, and he is having a ridiculous season. The most points of any OHL defenseman in the last 30 years. Just going nuts. That's halfway there. We'll keep it going. We'll get a couple more. Here's Adar Suniev. Let's pull up the clip of Mr. Suniev. Denver having an amazing season. Sorry, UMass for Suniev.
Bouncing, and once again Hudson there, knocked down by Suniev. You wanted the call. Lautenbach comes out of there. Fed it up the slot. Bouncing shot. Score!
Snipe.
Suniev.
Adar
ties
Suniev
it.
scoring a goal that we wish Yegor Sharangovich would score. That's an absolute missile of a shot. He will. He'll do it again. He'll be better. I stand by it. But Adar Suniev, he was the other piece of that deal. He was the third-round pick Calgary got for Tyler Toffoli. They got him. They got Yegor. And boy, if Suniev can have a season like Yegor had last year with Calgary at any point, he'll be a steal. That'll do it for the half dozen good eggs. We want to throw in a mention of Carter King as well, a Calgary boy. He's the Denver guy. He's the captain at Denver. Frank Seravalli says that Calgary might be going after Carter King, so keep an eye on him as a free agent after this season.
And if you really want to tank next year, I see the McKenna love in the chat there.
Yeah.
He's now passed Sidney Crosby for the second longest point streak in the CHL in the 21st century. 92 points in 38 straight games. He's second in the WHL in points, leads in assists, and he's only been held off the score sheet 3 times.
He's amazing. He is looking like a sort of a foundational player type, not just a foundational player type, but like a generational almost. I mean, that word is used too much, but what he's been doing in the WHL, and I mean, I'm debating that trip up to Whitehorse because that
I'm
sounds
so
like
pumped for that.
I know you're going to be there.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, they better send you.
I mean, I'm begging. I actually have a lot of friends in Whitehorse,
Yeah.
and I really want to go.
I would love to go up there. I've heard great things.
If you like outside, Whitehorse
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah. That's going to be cool. They're playing.
It's
What
going
is
to be
it?
cool.
What's
But
the
you
matchup? Medicine Hat against
Kelowna. Yeah, 2026 Mem Cup hosts.
That's going to be cool.
I'm fighting so hard for there to be a pontoon boat ready, and whatever team wins, just like walk out of Prospera Place down to the water and take the Mem Cup for a spin around the lake. That would be nuts. But you also don't have to go to Whitehorse to watch Gavin McKenna. Regular season finale is this Sunday. It's Calgary versus Medicine Hat. So Axel Hertig is in the mix too. And top 2025 NHL draft eligible Ben Kindle, who's closing in on 100 points for the Hitmen. That game is probably going to decide who wins the Central Division and who gets the top seed in the Eastern Conference. So that one's going to be huge. I believe it's a 2:00 start. Oh, actually, I should know that one. But it's also going to be free to stream on the WHL's YouTube channel if you want to hang out at home and check that one out.
It's on Sunday?
Sunday.
Might have to go to that.
23rd.
We go to that. Make some calls. Got to go to that.
See, yeah, Willie's there.
Yep.
Pens fans, Tanner Howe's there.
Yep.
Carter Yakimchuk's there. Carson Wetch is there.
It's a good team. Sawyer Minio.
Yep.
Very
Too many.
good team.
Daniel Hauser has another shot at becoming the winningest goalie in league history. He's looking for 123rd career win.
At least one team in this city is winning right now.
They were just 9-0-1 until Edmonton snapped their streak on Sunday there.
Yep.
But nuts. That's some good news. We have a little more good news. Connor Zary's coming back.
Yep, he
That
is.
2-game suspension is up. How do you see that helping the situation, or does it help the situation tomorrow?
I mean, of course it helps the situation. Zary's a very good player. I think he's been a little bit off of himself since he came back from the injury. I think he has been trying to do a little bit too much. He's taken some penalties that I didn't like from him, and his production hasn't been there. But he's had good games, and he is a very talented player. And I said this off mic, but I think Zary is the kind of player who you look at, and 5 years from now, he's your number 5 forward. I think you're really, really happy with that player. And I think he's a player who the Flames should endeavor to keep at the reasonable price that they can get, the most reasonable price they can get for a long time. I think he's a very, very fun player to watch. He's just got some areas to improve. Consistency is a big one, but I think it's huge to get him back, because ultimately you don't want to have Dryden Hunt in your top 9 for a long period of time. And, you want to have more options. There are ways that the Flames can make this a little bit more palatable than it has been recently.
More happy news, Borg. Thank you for helping out youth centers Calgary through the super chat. The Flames would be getting away with this shit if it wasn't for you meddling kids. I'm the tar monster.
Am I? Am I?
Who's your favorite Scooby-Doo villain?
Scooby-Doo villain?
Yeah.
Aren't they all like?
That's what this is from.
Aren't they just like a guy who pulls off a mask and he's like the guy
Yeah.
that they knew earlier in the episode? I wasn't really a Scooby-Doo guy. I was more of a.
Have some culture.
I liked the Flintstones. I watch Teletoon Retro. Reboot. You ever watch Reboot?
No, I lived it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Teletoon Reboot. I forgot about.
No. Like the show
yeah.
with like the blue people.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't vibe with that.
Yeah. The Bugs Bunny and Tweety show.
I like Jacob Tutu. Bret Hart was on that. Some good CanCon right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Brother Bear. Or,
no, was not down with Brother Bear.
No. I liked.
It was also called Little Bear.
Yeah, Little Bear. That's right. I was thinking of movies after that. Cars. I was the Cars generation. That's kind of depressing.
That's so great. Good for you. Have fun getting ID'd when you go to the bar. I'm 1,000 years old.
I do. I very much still do.
I'm the Zdeno Chara of this show now.
Yeah, you're probably as strong. Going on grading on a scale.
No, sorry, he's too tall. I'm the Nathan Gerby of this
That's
show.
true. Yeah, you got the yeah. I should just not say anything.
We're going to celebrate a Flames legend in just a second here, but first we want to shout out Origin Brewing and Malting Company. They brought us so many pleasant beverages that we enjoy responsibly on the daily. They also offer $5 locally delivery. Goodness gracious, I'm messier than the Flames.
Oof.
$5 local delivery on any order of $50 or more within 50 clicks of downtown Calgary. You can place your order on Origin's online store at originbrewing.ca. The shop button is there, and just browse through the selection of quality beverages and merchandise, and they'll bring it to you. And also, when you're out at your favorite liquor store, your favorite restaurant, and they don't have these things, ask them and they'll just bring it on in. They're located at 943 28th Street Northeast, and of course, still going strong at 60 Spruce Park Drive in Strathmore.
It's a good product. It is a quality product. I've had a couple. They're good.
We just went to Banff the other weekend, and my boyfriend opened up his bag and he just packed a bunch of Origin stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good way. Yeah. It's
didn't bring clothes, but
you ever hear the people who climb Mount Everest and they just pack their bags full of butter because it has like the highest calorie content, like density. That's maybe the opposite.
Interesting.
Maybe the opposite of packing Origins.
I would have guessed that it would be peanut butter.
Well, it's a form of butter. It's
Anyway, as I alluded to off the top, they made Lanny watch that garbage.
You said it, not me.
Cruel. Ugh. Today happens to be 35 years since Lanny became the first Flame to have his jersey retired. Sweet memories. We're going to take you back through some of them. This is a look back from the 2-7 files at Lanny's 500th goal. Maybe.
It's coming.
He just drove it wide. Otto battling for possession once again. McDonald, he scored! He did it! 500!
And my dad still maintains to this day that nobody has ever had a better finish to a career than Lanny McDonald has, because he gets up to 1,000 points, 500 goals, 500 assists, and he wins the Stanley Cup to conclude his career. He even plays in Game 6 of the Cup final. He wasn't a healthy scratch. He wasn't Jim Poplinski coming onto the ice in a tracksuit. He was out there. He scored a goal, and the Flames.
Well, that was the thing. He was scratched, and he had to fight his way back into
bring him
the
back
lineup.
in. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Actually, Grant Pollock did a great interview with Lanny after they won, and Lanny had Ardell with him, his longtime wife, obviously, and she stepped into the interview and called him out. She said, "You all said he was done."
Mm-hmm.
He was, and I think that was a beautiful moment. And we have another one here that came out of the archive. It is man, myth, legend, mustache, Bearcat Murray talking about the first time he met Lanny.
Talk about friendship. There's a great friendship there. But I remember Lanny when he came in. He was just a raw bone country kid, came in as a junior, and I can still see him here, like it was yesterday, coming in. He came in to me. He says, "Hi, Bearcat. I'm Lanny McDonald." And from then on, we were friends, and away we went. We of course lost him. We lost him to the Medicine Hat Tigers, but what a career he's had, and what a friendship it's been.
Well, one other layer to that is that Lanny goal that we just saw, that was the second last goal of his career, because he scored one goal in the playoffs, and it was that goal in Game 6. And what a way to go out where your last two goals are so consequential. And, you know, a very popular guy, still to this day. Had some health scares. He's back, it seems, to full spirits, and yeah, a otherwise really unremarkable game that we would all love to forget has you know, at least some respite in the form of
Because
him.
we're always happy when we see Lanny.
Of course.
And it's nice to see Bearcat's face again.
Absolutely.
Too. So rest in peace there. I know his son Danny's still around town. See him sometimes. So shout out Danny Murray, the son of the old pot licker.
Yes.
But legends. I would love to see when they open up the new building a statue of the Lanny pump.
Do it.
Yeah, that's what you need out there.
That'd be great. I'd be all for that.
Yeah, but before we get there, we got to get through the rest of this road trip. Goodness gracious. So 5:30 Mountain start against New York tomorrow. The Rangers are a hot mess off the ice, but they're hanging on to the second wild card. They are 4-4-2 in their last 10. They are coming off a shutout win against Columbus and a 3-1 loss against Edmonton. Did I say loss against Columbus? Pardon me. They shut out Columbus 4-0. So that's what's up tomorrow. On to the Devils on Thursday. New Jersey, they're battered. They're weary. We may have seen their shot at a deep playoff run thwarted by injuries with no Jack Hughes, no Hamilton. They're still hanging on to third in the Metro. They were up 2-0 on Columbus last I checked tonight. I think it ended up 2-1.
Yeah.
And then we got the Snooze Bowl on Saturday at the Flames visiting the Islanders. However, the Isles stunned the Panthers yesterday. They scored 4 unanswered goals for a comeback win. So they still got some juice.
Remember Trent Hunter when he played for the New York Islanders? Remember Blake Como and Richard Park and Mark Parrish and Mariusz Czerkowski? I'd rather just list off names than watch that game. I think it's gonna be a rough one. What about where's the Montreal game? Where's the
Montreal game that is totally happening?
The Boston game. Yeah. This segment's sponsored by Platinum Mitsubishi, and I don't even know what the games are. Boy, I'm gonna get fired. No, yeah, this is the road ahead. So yeah, as you were saying, Cami, road trip coming up. It's gonna be 5 games that we're all gonna watch. It's gonna be great. Rangers, Devils, Islanders, and then they come back home. Seattle and Dallas.
Hooray!
Yeah, Seattle's been okay lately. They've been getting some W's.
Not an easy out. Not an easy out.
But really, this second half of the month is going to be pretty tough sledding. I mean, even the Devils coming up. I mean, again, it's a team that's lost a lot of guys, but you know, their goaltending was good today, and the Flames are really not scoring against even, you know, so-so goaltenders. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, that is the road ahead, brought to you by Platinum Mitsubishi, home of the 2025 Outlander. We just got back from the auto show. It was at BMO Center just this past weekend. It was great. By day 4, we were a little snoozy, but it was pretty great. A lot of great feedback for the 25 Outlander. So much so that on April the 12th, it will be a barbecue up at 2720 Barlow Trail Northeast to launch officially the 2025 Outlander, featuring Yamaha speakers. The first time ever that Yamaha has had a car audio system. You know, you ever had a Yamaha piano in your house? I did. I had a Yamaha piano, and it made some really nice tones. And you put that
Yamaha bike.
You put that. Well, they do everything. They're kind of like Mitsubishi. They do everything. I mean, Mitsubishi makes planes and HVAC systems and cars. So come on up to 2720 Barlow Trail, and they'll put you on the road ahead. Hopefully, it's a better road ahead than the one that the Flames are heading down out east. Hey, Ryan Pike's out there, you know. And they helped send Ryan Pike out to New York, which he's about to take part from the press box for the next 3 games.
So that'll be fun.
He's gonna really love it.
Great
Thanks
stuff.
to Platinum Mitsubishi.
I know this is so before your time. Have you ever seen Children of the Corn?
I know of it.
Have you seen the South Park spoof?
No.
Okay, well, you're going to YouTube it after, specifically Children of the Corn Outlander, and you will hear what plays in my head on loop every time.
Every time I do that read?
Every single time.
I mean, did that episode also have 7 seats and a brown leather interior and a 360 camera?
No, but someone's hand went into a blender and there's a corn god. Oh.
Lots of safety features in the Outlander. That'll never happen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sure.
No hands getting cut off.
I believe that. Well,
that's right.
You wouldn't get out of the Outlander to go into the cursed town.
Of course not. Of course not.
He who walks behind the rose could never get you. Playoff picture with Calgary's regulation loss, their chance of making the playoffs has dipped to 19.3%. So
Wow.
it's a salvage job for those who really want to see them make the playoffs from here. Team Dunk Tank, well on your way. Anything you want to get to before we get to our questions and comments and a look at tomorrow's games?
I want to get to bed.
Okay, all right. Let's pull up our look at tomorrow's matches with Bet365. Of course, you know, breaking news coming in from Bet365. Every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner, an afterburner when it's us, of course. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. They're an official partner of the NHL. You can download the app today and use the code NATION to get in on the game. You got to be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. So, Flames Rangers. I mean, what is the over you take on that one? Do you take the over?
I might say JT Miller anytime goal. Seems like he likes to show up against Calgary, but
JT Miller anytime tantrum. Anytime Adam Fox boo.
Did you know that Cami is from Vancouver or from BC? Hey, has connections to BC.
You know what people from small towns love to hear?
They're from Vancouver.
10 hours away.
Yeah, well, Cami has been to Vancouver many times.
Actually, not really.
Really?
Well, mom's like family's from the island. They go to the
jeez.
island more.
Showing my ass.
Yeah.
She likes the
Whoops.
Canucks. Secret. She has a soft spot.
Might have been a one-woman riot in 2011.
Yeah.
Might have punched a Red Wings fan. Who knows?
Hey, we'll never know. Never know. No
Mystery.
proof. No proof. There's no proof.
There's no
proof.
charges.
There's no proof.
Might have had a showdown with Johnny Busick about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's like not from Creston, but he lives there for part of the year. He's got a spot up the lake. Actually, the only reason there's an arena there is because of Johnny Busick. The Johnny Busick Arena.
Yeah.
Home of the Creston Valley Thundercats, live from the litter box. That was my start in broadcasting. I did their play-by-play when I was in high school. And I was so horrible at it.
I think you probably would be. I've probably heard worse. Probably. Worse. Yeah.
Probably.
A lot worse.
But around that time, briefly, Chris Knobloch was the head coach of the Kimberley Dynamiters 2 towns over.
That's
and then he swapped that bright red tracksuit to go coach some guy named Connor McDavid in the OHL.
That's right.
So that was that.
That's right.
All right, let's get to some questions and comments before we wrap it up here. What do we have? Why don't we have overhead cams at each blue line? I think that would actually be a difficult angle directly overhead because there's actually so much that could block parts of your feet. Does that make sense? I don't know if it would be hard to find the best angle on that.
Yeah, I think it would be a valuable thing to have, but I don't think it would be the one be all end all conclusive angle that you might think. You know, you see plays where you have, okay, is the puck in? You have overhead cams, and those aren't always conclusive either. I think, and I just don't know.
Low side cam be more beneficial,
but they kind of already have that.
That's
we kind of saw 2 opposite angles of that on the Frost disallowed goal, and it didn't really seem to. I really don't get how they ruled that one conclusively, but there were people in the comments who were right. They have access to other angles that we just don't see. Maybe they do have that camera. Maybe if there's one arena that I would bet has that camera, it's probably Toronto, because they've got like 1 billion cameras in that rink, but I just don't know. I think it's not a bad idea.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Peter M, maybe Peter Marr. So if Wolf wasn't the problem tonight, was it the D or just the whole team sacked?
Whole team sacked.
Sacked.
They sacked tonight.
You know, I think there were kind of some issues ranging from minor to major, top to bottom. There was a lot of east-west play. They were really not solid on their breakouts. They didn't capitalize on the chances they did have. The high danger chances just weren't there. Honestly, the shots were down. There wasn't a lot I loved about this game start to finish, and Wolf held them in there and gave them the shot to win, or at least try to put up a couple of goals through probably the first half of the game before things went out of hand.
You said in a lot of words what I will say in 3. They just sacked. They just sacked. They weren't good.
Oh my gosh. All right.
It
Let's
just-
do 2 more here before we wrap it up. Do you think Ryan Huska, pulled Wolf for the chance to start tomorrow?
Yes.
It could be. Yeah. I mean, that game was a lost cause at that point. I don't think anyone thought that the Flames were going to put up another 2 goals, let alone try to mount any kind of a comeback. You might as well rest your best guy. And at the end of the day,
Agreed.
he's young.
Yeah.
He'll bounce back.
I would be shocked if Wolf doesn't start tomorrow.
Okay, let's do the last one here and then we'll wrap her up. How come Cami and Mike haven't fought yet?
I'm too afraid. We'll leave it at that. I think there's a couple more.
All right. Okay. Oh yeah, we got
Yeah,
one more here.
yeah.
I think the fight is still in the works.
It's probably gonna happen.
It's in the works. We'll give you a helmet.
There were people in the comments saying that I have the personality of a 70-year-old. You wouldn't fight a 70-year-old, Cami.
Thank you for being a friend.
I don't have health insurance to cover a plate in my groin.
What?
A new hip flexor.
That's possible.
Yeah, it would be tough to count what wouldn't be broken.
You should know, like, behind the scenes at the drinking show, we did test out the flip without actually throwing him to the ground. And I think, honestly, you could cartwheel out of it if you were ready.
I'm an agile boy.
Oh my God, 2 more questions. Get me out of here.
Let's go.
Are we getting sick of the Raz stare? That was actually a discussion that was had in the studio tonight. RJ
No.
wants more. Greedy boy back there. Well, he's not scoring enough goals for him to do it more.
RJ, we were gonna get RJ on mic. We were gonna get him on camera, and it was vetoed
One day.
by himself.
I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel correct now.
No, it feels a little overplayed, a little stayed, a little, I don't know.
You guys are boring.
Okay. Next.
It's fun. Come on.
Next.
He's wearing his nice new Reputation hat.
Thank you, Yasmin.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
She got it for me for Christmas, I think. Yeah.
It's March. Next.
That's all we got. That's it.
Really?
That's all.
What was the one about Marner? There was one about Mitch Marner in there. 12.5 million, I thought. Wasn't there? So somebody asked if the Flames should give Mitch Marner 12.5 million. Who says no? And I say Mitch Marner says no. Why would he come here to this team? That's all I got.
That's it. That's all, gang. Oh my gosh. What a night. Oh, the Flames lay an egg 6-2 in Toronto against the St. Pats. They don't even get to celebrate / drown their sorrows because they got to play the Rangers tomorrow. But we had fun and here tonight, and I think we're getting closer to getting RJ to come on and sing us a song because he's a talented musician. So we have so many things coming up. We've got Team Dunk Tank. We've got the flip. And we got our musician friends. We should plan an extravaganza for the end of the season.
I'm just confused. You said they laid an egg. It's not Easter yet.
I will. I'll bust it out. Heck yeah. All right. Thanks for suffering through this with us, friends. Have a good night.
Happy Halloween.